Welcome to Gaia's Calling, where stories ignite your spirit and the earth whispers her secrets. I'm Brad Swift, a Right on Purpose author of eco-fiction and nonfiction, inviting you to become an eco-guardian. Together, let's explore the wonders of our world and take action to protect them. Listen closely, Gaia is calling. And today's call from Gaia is on becoming the kind of person who acts, from bystander to builder of the regenerative future. So, let's dig in. For a long time, I thought the solution was, just doing more. More writing, more coaching, more composting, more everything, advocacy. I thought the world needed me in action. And the truth is, it does. But what I've also come to understand, what life has been teaching me, especially over the past few years, is that before we can change the world, we must change our relationship to the world. That's really what One Cause is all about. It's about releasing the 4 Great Untruths and embracing and living from the 4 Great Truths. And that requires becoming someone new, not inauthentically, not by trying to be someone else, but by growing into the next expression of who we truly are. That's the journey I've been on. And that's the invitation of One Cause. That's where this article and the podcast episode is all about. A vow to grow. I wake each morning now with a quiet ritual, what I call my One Cause daily protocol. It's simple. I sit, I breathe, and I recommit. Not just to writing or activism or checking items off a to-do list, but to being a person who lives as if the 4 Great Truths are real, trustworthy, and the foundation for a regenerative future. I won't share the whole thing here. It's kind of long and, it's sacred to me, but I'll give you a piece of it. It goes like this. Even while living in a world and culture shaped for hundreds of years by the 4 Great Untruths, I choose to dedicate my life to living in alignment with the 4 Great Truths to the best of my ability. This is, without doubt, an impossible mission for me, and yet it's also the next level of my life on purpose journey, which began in earnest in 1996. Think about it. That was nearly 30 years ago. And here I am at 76, choosing to level it up again. Not to just save the world, but to live in service to it. That choice shows up in my morning meditations, in my rhythm of writing, in the creation of the Loving Homestead, and in the launch of the Eco Guardian Youth Project. But most of all, it shows up in who I'm becoming. Some days I do this with a steady heart and a strong spine. On other days I'm tired or anxious or distracted. I may fall short, but I come back because this isn't about perfection. It's about purposeful practice. The compass for becoming. One of the tools that's helped me orient this journey in a framework is adapted from Ken Wilber's integral theory, a way of seeing ourselves and our actions in 4 interrelated dimensions. Number 1, being. Who am I becoming? Number 2, doing. What actions am I taking? 3 is relating. Who am I walking with? And 4 is creating. What am I contributing to the world? And if you're not on Substack right now, there's an image there you might want to take a look at. The compass of inspired action. This simple compass reminds me that inspired action is not just about what I accomplish out there. It's about what I cultivate in here and how I connect it all together. Let me walk you through these quadrants and how they've shown up in my life and how they might just serve you as well. So, the being area, the inner ground of inspired action. When we speak of action, we often rush past the inner world, the emotions, the habits, and self-perceptions that shape how we show up. But as I've learned, again and again, becoming the kind of person who takes inspired action begins inside. For me, this has meant cultivating flow states, both on my pickleball court, on pickleball, and at the writing desk. It's not just about playing better or writing faster. It's about discovering that place where action and awareness merge. Flow reminds me that I'm capable of more than I think, and that joy, not fear, can power progress. It's also meant learning emotional agility. I used to believe that if I felt anxious or overwhelmed, I needed to fix it before moving forward. Now I'm learning to walk with those emotions, to listen to them, to let them sharpen my focus rather than steal my power. And perhaps most of all, I've discovered the power of eudaimonic joy, that deeper kind of fulfillment that comes not from getting what I want, but from living in alignment with what matters: purpose, service, connection. These are the renewable fuels of a regenerative life. And then we have the domain of doing, hero training in daily life. It's one thing to feel inspired, it's another to act on it. One of my core commitments lately has been to take daily actions, no matter how small, that strengthen my alignment. I think of it as hero training, not in a flashy Marvel movie kind of way, but in the ordinary, real-world sense of being someone others can count on. For me, that includes moving my body with intention. Yes, pickleball, that's my dojo. Also journaling my thoughts, doubts, and dreams. And also tackling micro missions like writing letters, planting pollinators, or simply sharing a Substack note that might ripple outward. Small doesn't mean insignificant. Small is how everything starts. And then we have relating, who we walk with. One of the biggest breakthroughs I've had, and still in the process of having, in the One Cause journey, is realizing that I don't need to do it all alone. In fact, I can't. Whether it's building the loving homestead with Anne, or coaching a client who's writing a legacy-worthy novel, or participating in organizing a community after hours with my friend Carrie, I'm discovering that action becomes more joyful and more sustainable when it's done in community. Even this project, this article you're reading, is an act of co-creation between you and me, between human intelligence and, yes, artificial intelligence, between idea and action. So if you've been feeling like you need to figure it all out before stepping forward, let that go. Find your circle. In fact, this may be it, or at least one of them. Invite others in. Even one other person can shift everything. Let me know how I and others in this community can support your purposeful projects by joining Brad Swift's subscriber chat. Again, if you're either on the website, Substack website, or on the app, you can join by clicking the Join Chat button. And then last of all, we got creating. Acts of regeneration. I used to think creative acts meant writing books or starting movements. And sure, those count. But I've come to realize that any act that brings more life into the world is a creative act, such as composting, storytelling, mending a shirt, rewilding a corner of your backyard, organizing a neighborhood seat swap. Every one of these is a regenerative gesture, a way of saying, this world matters. I choose to be a part of its healing. So, Don't wait for the big moment. Start creating now. Even small ripples can become waves. Because you are the one. I'll end this Substack today with a reminder that changed me the first time I heard it. You are the one you've been waiting for. No superhero is coming. No perfect plan will arrive. But you are already enough to begin. So here's my invitation. Mini activation this week. Choose one of the 4 quadrants. Being. You can meditate, breathe, or just flow. Doing. Take one small mission aligned with your values. Relating. Call a friend, thank a teacher, or join a local circle. And creating. Make something, anything, then share it. And if you feel moved, let me know in the comments, or let's chat about it. What's one small way you're becoming the person the future needs? 'Cause we're in this together, and we're just getting started. With purpose, this is Brad, aka W. Bradford Swift, Eco Guardian Training and founder of One Cause.